Hey, Beastista here, and welcome to the VDL Season 8 quarterfinals. This week, I am against the Boltund Bashers. Sadly for me, this was the literal only match that I did not want to match up against this week, so I had a 75% chance to avoid this head-to-head, and unluckily for me, I got this. The reason I don't want to play this is twofold. One, this is a rematch in which I won. I believe that rematches in which you win are in particularly tricky. In addition to that, I think monotype teams are in particularly bad in rematches because there's typically only so many ways in which I can overcome some major weaknesses of my team. The second issue with this is the Boltund Bashers are one of the best coaches in the VDL. They're a two-time champion. In addition, I do not believe I've ever seen Goomer lose a rematch in my entirety of all of his matches. He is one of the best rematch coaches pretty much I've ever seen, and that definitely makes it difficult. And so here we can see the matchup. It should look familiar. This is the exact matchup. We have made no trades since week 4. So I have some strengths, which is they only have one ice resist on their entire team, which means I can fairly comfortably use ice coverage to hit a lot of their teams for for good damage. In addition to that, their team is pretty slow outside of specifically Tornadus setting up Tailwind, and so I have the ability to outspeed them pretty well in that aspect. So those are kind of the main strengths. However, like I said, this is a rematch, and so it's really tricky to figure out the best way to adjust without, to adjust to the new, to the rematch, because I showed a lot of my thoughts and ways I think to beat them the first time we played. So this is what I decided to bring. So I brought a really bulky Mr. Rime with Trick Room, Psychic, Focus Blast. I really wanted to fit ice coverage, mainly freeze dry on it. However, I thought Psychic was too important for the Pessimian. Focus Blast was too important to the Kling Klang, which is the only ice resist. We have Weavile with Focus Sash. Also has Fake Out, Triple Axle, Throat Chop, which hits everything on the team for at least neutral. And then Ice Shard in case they get Tailwind up or they get Trick Room up, just to get a little ship damage before Weavile might die if it's being outsped. And so the idea is typically I want to lead one of those two to get some fake out support. Below that, we have the Hell mode. We have Ninetales with Never Melt Ice, with Protect, Blizzard, Moonblast, and Freeze Dry. This just is good coverage into pretty much everything on their team, except for Kling Klang. So the reason why I've Never Melt Ice is I originally was considering Expert Belt or maybe even Life Orb, but I decided Never Melt Ice just because the only thing that I'm not going to just hit Blizzard in front of it. It's going to be specifically Pessimian. Never Melt Ice lets Blizzard be more powerful than Moonblast, so I don't have to choose between the single target and the multi-target move. The Blizzard will just pretty much always be correct unless Pessimian's in front of me. And then Arctivish, we have the Choppleberry, so it can survive attack from Pessimian, and Focus Blast from something like Tornadus. And then we have Vicious Wren, and Icicle Spear hits everything on their team for at least neutral. And then we have the Freeze Dry to get the kill on a Dracovish, just, in case they bring that. Next, we have Cloister. So Cloister is max bulk, no offensive investment, exclusively physically bulky. We have Iron Defense, Life Dew with as a means to make sure I can grind through pretty much any offensive or physically offensive wall. And then we have Whirlpool to finish it up. I have Icy Wind for two things. One, it can help do a little bit of something if I don't feel like I can set up. And two, if they have Water Absorb Dracovish, I can actually kill it. And so that's the idea. And so one of the big strategies this week is try to kill their special attackers quickly and then finish up with Cloister and just kind of get a guaranteed win by that. Finally, we have Choice Scarf Darmanitan, which is just generous standard coverage. The idea behind this is that we hope to be able to just get some one-hit KOs, get massive damage before it dies. But with that, let's get into the match. So here we are for game 1. So looking at my opponent's team, they have a lot what I was expecting. The big thing I really wasn't expecting is Eldegoss. It doesn't surprise me too much because Goomer definitely likes running some strange mons. But everything else is about what I expected. So I decided to lead Rime and Darmanitan. And the big question is whether or not I want to run Cloister. Cloister was one of my big game plans, but looking at their team, it looks like they have about 4 special attackers, which was more special attackers than I wanted. So I decided to go with Arctivish and Ninetales in the back. But with that, let's get into the match. So my opponent leads Passimian and Weezing, which I think is a solid enough lead for them. And I lead the Rime Darmanitan. So with this, I am immediately pressured by the Passimian. So one thing that's awkward is with neutralizing gas, I don't actually have a way to one-shot the Passimian within headbutt, whereas with without neutralizing gas, I can kill it. However, because Weezing doesn't threaten either of these to killing either of these, I decided to just go for the fake out Zen headbutt into the Passimian, especially because Passimian is less likely to have protect than Weezing in my opinion. So we fake out the Passimian, and we also get the Zen headbutt off. And as we can see, this is going to do pretty good damage, and it would definitely have killed without the neutralizing gas. However, they just go for a heat wave with the Weezing, and it does a little bit over 50% of the Darmanitan and a little bit under 50% with the Rime. However, for them, they get a lucky burn, which is really awkward because now it's in not the greatest shape for my Weezing or my Rime in the next turn. So here I definitely want to go for the Psychic into the Weezing, and the big question is, do I want to read the obvious switch out of the Passimian? Because it seems very likely that they're going to switch out. I don't really want to switch out my own Darmanitan because there's a good chance that if they just attack, I could lose them on in the back. And so I decided to just go for the Passimian for the safe play. So one thing here is that in our previous match, they brought Focus Sash Weezing, and so that's something I'm expecting at this point. So they end up switching out the Kling Klang, which is not too surprising. I definitely could have made that read, but I thought that it was too risky to make that read personally. And as we can see, the Zen Hubbo does really minimal damage. They double connect with the Heat Wave again, which ends up killing the Darmanitan, bringing my Rime down to the Agua Berry, which is pretty, which is fine. However, we see that the Agua Berry ends up healing me up to about 50%. However, I get confused. This is annoying because not only do I get confused, I also hit myself instead of bringing down the Weezing to Sash. So this was super annoying. So basically what happened is I bred my own Pokemon, unlike my opponent here who just hacked their Mons. And I used Ments to change the nature, and I didn't check the base nature of the Mon. And so the Agua Berry ends up going to confusion. I checked this about, assuming that my nature is random, it's about a 16% chance that this item confuses me, and then a 33% chance that I hit myself. So about 5% of the time I hit myself, assuming my nature was random. So at this point, though, there's not much for me to do. I can see some justification to possibly switch into the Ninetales here. However, the obvious play for them is just to Kling Klang into the Rime spot. So I decided to just go for the damage into the Weezing, trying to kill the Weezing, because if Weezing dies, then I can get the hell up, and then Arctovish might be able to do something in the back. Sadly for me, they go for a Protect, which definitely is very annoying for me. Because not only did I go for the Fish's Rend, I also went for the Psychic. However, they just go for the Gear Grind into the Rime, killing the Rime. So definitely could have done some. It would have been pretty nice to hit the Kling Klang, but so now we're down to 2 Mons against their 4 Mons. Luckily for me, the Passimian is pretty low, but we're definitely not in great shape, especially because the Hell's not up. So once again, though, I do think that I really need to deal with this Weezing to get the Hell up to be able to outspeed. And so I just go for the Blizzard and the Fish's Rend. This should kill Weezing if I connect with the Blizzard. In addition, this also gives me some chances to freeze, and I would really need a freeze on the Kling Klang to have a good chance to be able to win this game. So the Blizzard ends up luckily double connecting, which does very good damage to the Weezing. Sadly, it doesn't get a doesn't get a freeze. They double connect with the Heat Wave again, and I am able to get the kill, and I just barely miss out the kill with the Fish's Rend. So this is definitely where we can see that my confusion was really big, because the Blizzard by itself would have killed the Weezing if my confusion didn't happen, and then I would have got the Fish's Rend into the Kling Klang, which would do about 50% damage. The Iron Defense on the Kling Klang is somewhat surprising, but it makes some amount of sense. Here they just go for another Protect, which is unsurprising, and they go for a Protect on the Weezing, or the Kling Klang, which that one is surprising to me. I was expecting that to be another sort of move, but I'm assuming they just want some leftovers recovery. Definitely a little bit strange though on the double Protect there. because all it does is give him a little bit of HP, which I don't think is that relevant. So here we go for another Blizzard, and we go for the Vicious Ren into, there's an argument to do it into the Weezing spot, assuming they're going to switch out, but I go into the Klinkling instead. So they do in fact switch out the Weezing, which is something, like I said, I possibly could have predicted, and gone for the attack into the partner Pokemon, which ends up being Shuckle here. However, we do get the Vicious Ren off into the Klinkling, which does very good damage. As we can see that if I didn't get confused and I was able to hit the Vicious Ren the previous turn instead of doubling up into the Weezing, the Klinkling would be dead here, and I would be in commanding position. However, they were able to get a Sheer Gift off, which doubles their speed, which definitely makes them likely outspeed my Ninetales. However, it likely doesn't let me outspeed with the or lets me outspeed with the Archfish. Likely doesn't let me outspeed with the Ninetales. So here, I'm expecting to protect on the Klinkling. So I just go for the Blizzard and the Vicious Ren into the Shuckle. I could definitely see an argument that to attack the Klinkling, because it seems like a Blizzard and the Vicious Ren could kill if they don't protect. As we see, they don't protect, which is a little bit awkward. And we're able to kill the Shuckle with the Vicious Ren. However, the Vicious Ren into the Klinkling and a Blizzard double up with the Hell Chip probably kills the Klinkling, so that might have been better. However, as we can see, they do obviously the Ninetales at +2 and kill the Ninetales before I can move. I'm not positive on the damage calc with the Vicious Ren, but I don't think I'd kill. I think I would just barely miss out, probably be at about 5%. However, it would be low enough in which, it'd be die to basically another hit. And so now they just bring out the Weezing, and there's an argument to just protect here to let the Weezing die to Hell Chip. However, if they get a Gear Grind off with the Klinkling, then I'm in a really awkward position. And so, that's kind of the idea. However, if they just protect, then I just take damage for no reason. And so we kind of get in this awkward position where I decide to read that they're going to try to sheer grift with the Klinkling again. So they end up going for Iron Defense instead. However, we see that I actually don't outspeed them this time because of the neutralizing gas. So I definitely think that there's probably was just optimal to not attack at all, because I was never going to outspeed, so I didn't do the double damage that I did previously. And in addition, because they're at +4 Iron Defense now, I'm very far away from killing them. And so now we definitely are in the situation where we need a Gear Grind miss and a crit from my side to be able to win this game. And so that's definitely the out we're playing to. And so first we need to kill the Pissimian, because it can kill me from this range with a close combat, and that can't miss. And so now, after killing this, we then just need to hope they miss a Gear Grind, basically. And then from there, try to get the crit. And we kill the Pissimian. However, they do not miss the Gear Grind, getting their third one in a row and able to kill me. So this is definitely really sad. As we can see, I easily win this game if Rime doesn't confuse itself, because that Weezing would be at 1 HP. And I ended up using 3 attacks into it instead to kill it, rather than it being at 1 HP and then being able to kill with Hell Chip or one of the Blizzards. And from there, if I got one Vicious Ren before I got an Iron Defense up, this game would be easily over. So that was really disheartening for the first game. And in addition to that, it definitely made me feel less likely to want to bring Rime in game 2, which is in particularly annoying because Rime is not only has been the most important Pokemon my entire season, it definitely was my main game plan this matchup. So with that, I need to kind of come up with a new game plan or decide to bring Rime despite the fact that it will likely confuse itself. And so one thing, based on the mons they brought, I definitely think I want to bring Cloyster in the back. I think that Cloyster can be pretty good at dealing with the Klinklang in the late game and dealing with the Pissimian. And so I decided to lead Weavile instead of Rime this time because I don't really want to deal with confusions. And then the damage output also can be pretty good into some of these mons. And the idea is, like I said, I feel like I want to bring Cloister. Not only is a good in game, it's also a good switch in for some of the gear grinds and close combats because it's so defensively bulky. And the big question is, do I want Rime in the back or Ninetales? Generally speaking, I would almost always bring Rime, but with the Agua very confusing me, I definitely feel the need to kind of bring a Ninetales here, and instead, and I definitely don't think Arctivish is really worth it without setting up the Hell, and so I decided to just go with the Ninetales. And so with that, let's get into the match. So my opponent leads Cursula and Passimian, and I lead the Weavile Darmanitan. And so this is an interesting lead for me because I threatened to one-hit KO both of these mons. And so I can see some justification to go for like a triple fake out, but I also feel like there's a good chance that they're going to switch into Weezing or protect the Cursula, or switch out one of these for defensive pivot. But it's very hard to not just go for the double KO with the Throat Chop and the Zen Headbutt, which either of these, connecting to either of these mons, will get the one-hit KO. Like I said, it's really tricky because I'm sure they're going to switch one of these out and or protect one of these. So we see that they end up switching the Passimian out into an Eldegoss. And in addition to that, we see Cursula switches out. So they end up going for the double switch. So I definitely didn't expect the double switch. I was expecting one switch. However, this definitely punishes me greatly. I definitely could have read into this switch, but I'm not sure how I would have, what my decision would be to read into this. However, we do see that they have Cotton Guard on the Eldegoss, which lowers the speed of my mons, which is really awkward because now I'm not sure if my mons are going to outspeed. And we get, Throat Chop into Klingklang, which does reasonable damage. So here, the bigger real question is, do I want to target the Eldegoss or the Klingklang? And I decided I should target the Eldegoss because I can't really kill the Klingklang here, but I should be able to kill the Eldegoss. And I switched the Darmanitan into the Cloister, expecting a gear grind into the Darmanitan spot. Obviously, one of the awkward parts of my decision to do Zen Headbutt instead of some of the other moves is it doesn't really do good damage into the Klingklang. Eldegoss goes for an Endure, which is definitely a tech that does not surprise me too much because it's Goomer, but most other people it'd be probably somewhat surprising. But the Endure and the triple axle makes this really awkward because not only I'm not going to get the kill because of the Endure, I'm also in the situation where I'm not going to get just one, but I'm going to get either 2 or 3 triple drops because of triple axle hitting multiple times. And so now my Weavile is going to be at -4 if I connect all my hits, and my Cloister is going to be at -3, which means I pretty much are going to guarantee underspeed everything on the field with these mons. And in addition to that, the Eldegoss doesn't die. So we see that the Klingklang also goes for a Shift Gear, which doubles its speed, increases its attack by 1, which also means that it's pretty much going to guarantee outspeed anything other than my choice Darmanitan at this point. And in addition, the little recovery is pretty annoying as well. And so here, I can definitely see a justification to switch out the Weavile, but I don't really have any good switch-ins. And so I decided to just go for the Ice Shard to kill the Eldegoss and go for the Iron Defense to basically make sure I can take hits from this Klingklang pretty well. I considered, some other moves like Icy Wind, but Icy Wind doesn't really make too much sense because of the fact that Klingklang has Clear Body. And so we just go for the Iron Defense. So they switch out Eldegoss, which makes sense. However, even knowing the switch out, this would have been the move I made, which was just Ice Shard, because I should underspeed this Klingklang. And it goes for a Gear Grind and connects the 4th one in a row this match. Able to kill through the Focus Sash. This is one of the things that's really annoying with Klingklang, is that Gear Grind is one of the best moves into my team because it goes around Babri Berry and Focus Sashes. And so if they can connect this 85% accurate move consistently, it is by far the most annoying Pokemon that I can play against as a Mono Ice team. However, I am able to get up to +2 defense, which means I should be able to deal with these 2 mons pretty comfortably. However, unluckily for me, they have Eldegoss and Darmanitan and Cursula in the back. So the issue right now is that Eldegoss and Darmanitan both I need both of them to die before, or the Cursula just gets one shot by either of them. And so if I bring in Darmanitan, I can kill one of these two Mons on the field. However, then it immediately dies, and then I can't really threaten the Cursula in the back. And so I felt the need to bring out the Ninetales. The reason behind this is because I hope to, bait some attacks, get to a situation where I can kill both of these Mons in the same turn, so that I don't, I can bring Darmanitan to one-shot the Cursula later on. And so with this, I'm just deciding on whether or not I want to Whirlpool the Kling Kling and the Passimian. I go for the Kling Kling because it is the one that's going to be harder for my Ninetales to actually deal. So I protect the Ninetales, hoping they go for the Gear Grind, which seems like the logical play for them. However, unluckily for me, they go for the Shift Gear. So this is terrible for me. I really needed the Gear Grind there, because with that, now they outspeed my Darmanitan, and there's really almost nothing that can get me out of this. So we just go for the Whirlpool, and we're able to, get a little bit of chip damage into this into this Kling Kling with both the Hell and the Whirlpool chip. However, this game is definitely looking terrible. The only way I could possibly win this game is basically Eldegoss having no special coverage and Eldegoss and Cursula having no special coverage. If that is somehow possible, then Cloyster could theoretically win this entire game. However, right now, once again, I'm in a situation where I just hopefully need them to go for, or to miss the Gear Grind, and hope that Ninetales can get some pretty good chip in this. I decided to go for an Icy Wind. I definitely think that was probably a misplay. I probably should have gone for a Whirlpool into the Passimian, or gotten another Iron Defense up. However, at this point, I'm definitely a little bit flustered because I feel like it was such a bad decision. And as we can see, they connect their 5th consecutive Gear Grind in a row, which definitely really annoying. And we see the Passimian goes for an Iron Head, which is very minimal damage. I'm assuming they just doubled up into the Ninetales. However, unluckily for me, I get flinched. Here we bring out the Darmanitan. And once again, I'm in a situation where I definitely need a Gear Grind miss. And so I'm just deciding on what move I want to lock into. And I think I decided on Icicle Crash into the Passimian because I think it should kill from this range, and just basically hope that they miss a Gear Grind and I can get an Iron Defense up. If they miss multiple Gear Grinds in a row, I definitely have an opt-out here, because there's a good chance that I can kill the Cursula before it kills my Cloyster with the Darmanitan damage. But I definitely need multiple Gear Grind misses. So Gear Grind ends up going into Cloyster, which is very surprising, but very lucky for me. Unluckily for me, they get their 6th consecutive Gear Grind in a row. That doesn't without missing. However, really nice, they didn't target my Darmanitan, and I'm able to hit the Passimian and kill it. So now I still think there's definitely I'm not in the worst shape. I have an out, which is I need one Gear Grind to miss, and I should be able to win this game, as long as I connect with my Icicle Crash. I'm at +4 for defense with my Iron Defenses, so Kling Kling should never be able to break my Cloyster. It is slowly going to die from Whirlpools, and if I can kill Cursula, I should be able to win this game. And luckily for me, they bring out Cursula, so with the double up of an Icicle Crash and Icy Wind or Whirlpool here, I should hopefully be able to kill Cursula, and if I kill Cursula, I think I should be able to possibly win this game, because Eldegoss is in range of just Hell Chip. And so debating on Icy Wind and Whirlpool, I decide Icy Wind because I think it does a little bit more damage up front, and if I outspeed the Cursula here, I might be able to kill it before it can move. Because at this point, any special coverage into Cloyster will kill it. Sadly, though, they end up getting their 7th consecutive Gear Grind in a row, connecting and killing my Darmanitan. Definitely really awkward for me, and I just get an Icy Wind, which does very minimal damage. I'm definitely honestly a little surprised I was able to actually outspeed this Cursula, because I am at -3 speed. However, Cursula just goes for Iron Defense, and this gives me hope, because this means that maybe they don't have a special coverage. Because if they have a special coverage, then they would just one-shot me at this point. There's no reason for them not to just click Shadow Ball or Ancient Power, which just kills me at this range. And so maybe they just only have, support moves, or they only have physical moves for some reason. And so here we just go for a Whirlpool into Cursula, getting some passive damage. And like I said, if they don't have any special moves, I might be able to win here in theory. They connect their 8 consecutive gear grind in a row, which definitely a little bit awkward for me. However, I'm still haven't even proc my Citrus Berry, so I'm not in the worst shape at this point. Like I said, assuming they do not have any special coverage. They go for a Will-O-Wisp, which the passive damage is definitely annoying because it's going to make me have to use Life Dew more than I would like. However, I'm not doing any physical coverage, so it literally doesn't matter in that aspect. So with the burn, we get below 50%, activating our Citrus Berry, bringing those up to a little bit more healthy HP, so that I don't necessarily need their Life Dew if I don't really feel like it this turn. So we see that the Kling still has Whirlpool, so Whirlpool doesn't really do much at this point. And so the question is, do I want a Life Dew or Icy Wind? I decided to just Icy Wind with the hopes to kill the Kling, and, speed up the clock on the Cursula so that I don't have to deal with, the burn slowly whittling away. And here they end up connecting their 9th consecutive gear grind in a row. Obviously, a little bit annoying because, this 85% accurate move connecting 9 times, and it's really known for, Kling is really known for this, missing these gear grinds. I get a crit, which ends up, on both, which does pretty good damage into both of them. But here we also see that the Cursula is Citrus Berry, so this game is going to be a really long time if Cursula doesn't have a special move. However, they reveal Hex, which would have killed me without the burn, so pretty much they just, were delaying the game, giving me false hope. So really sad. And so with that, we are done with VDL for the season. We finished in the top 8, but we couldn't proceed. This match was definitely super disappointing and heartbreaking because not only did game 1 I lose exclusively because I breed my own mons and the Agua Berry confused me and I didn't get the Wheezing down to 1 HP, which then made him hit 3 hits. I also, didn't really feel like the matches were even that good. They definitely felt like, specifically game 2. In addition, I was really annoying that I had played the only match in this round of the playoffs I didn't want to play. I would have happily played the reigning champion in Panda. But sadly, my season's over. Goomer had great prep. I definitely wasn't expecting to win. I would really have liked to get at least a game off of them. I would really like to see how the game would progress if my Rime didn't confuse itself, didn't have an item that was actively harmful to it. But with that is my season. This is the farthest that I've ever made. I've only made, I made it to the top, I guess, first round of playoffs, which is top 16 before. So this is the furthest I won. I got my first playoff round this season, and I got 2nd seed, which is the highest I got in the regular season. So definitely it was a very good season for me. I'm very happy with the season, but definitely a little bit of a disappointing ending, especially because, we could have been up 1 game to 0, but instead we ended up losing because of, the item confusing me. So with that, I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you for watching this entire season, and I'm sure it'll probably be a long time until my next videos. Thank you for watching.